So if you want to hinder your progress and not develop to the highest form you can possibly be, one of the best ways to do that is to victimize yourself, is to put yourself in a losing mentality and a losing mind frame of this idea that life is happening to you and on you and against you in ways that you can't control, and you're now a victim, and you just sit there and accept negative things because the world's out to get you. There are so many variables in play that affect reasons as to why something might happen to you, to the point that it is so randomly generated if a misfortune occurs to you that usually it has nothing to do with malice or this concerted effort to harm you or hinder your progress. But usually it's just because life is so random. Good things happen to you, bad things happen to you as well. And if you're able to take these bad things and not see them as personal attacks on you and just see them for what they are, usually just a summation of random events that you do not see, and then the outcome of those events has now affected you, and that's what you see. And just understand that there's so much randomness going on behind the scenes and so many variables interacting in ways you can't even begin to understand. Then you'll accept when a bad thing happens to you that it's probably not personal. And the biggest benefit of that is that you will not victimize yourself. Now, obviously different people are put in different situations, and we are all exposed to different environments. And obviously, because as everything in life, there's so much randomness and inconsistency, some people are exposed to very quote unquote lucky environments and other people aren't. So it might be more difficult for some people to kind of mentally weather the storm and keep in mind that they are not a victim than someone who has, let's say, a very lucky life or a very healthy upbringing, let's say. Now, why is it so important to not victimize yourself? When you are doing anything difficult, if you allow doubt to creep into your mind and this idea that you may not be able to do something or that you do not deserve something, you will not get it. Like if you are going to run a marathon and in the back of your mind, you're like, I can't do that. And you think this is way too difficult. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good enough runner. I haven't trained enough. All these ideas, you probably will not be able to run that marathon because your mind will crush you. You will allow doubt to creep in and you will be crushed. In order to truly succeed and to successfully accomplish difficult tasks, you have to have some kind of arrogance about you that you're able to do those things and you deserve the positive outcomes that come with it, and that you're good enough at what you do that you're able to accomplish those things. And by thinking that way, you're thinking in the realm and looking through the lens of a winner, of victorship, of I'm going to go run this marathon and I'm going to finish it because I am a good runner and I deserve to finish it because I have put in training, because I am a good enough runner. Any difficult task that you're going to approach, let's say you're like, oh, I want to graduate with a degree in engineering. You first have to believe that you're capable of doing it. And there's some degree of confidence, arrogance, ego, whatever you want to call it. But there's an idea, you haven't even done it yet. You haven't taken your first course. You haven't taken the steps to do it. But there's still this idea that you deserve it. You deserve something that you haven't even done yet. And that is the opposite of victimness. Like that is thinking you deserve that thing and you're capable of it. And that will allow you to do it. So basically, if you want to accomplish anything difficult in life, you have to look through the lens of I am a winner and I deserve that thing. That's the very first thing. If you don't have that, you will not be able to even start in obtaining that thing, and you're going to be screwed right from the very beginning. Not because you're actually screwed, not because you don't deserve it, or you're not smart enough, or you're not athletic enough, but just because your mind has already given up and has thought that you, for whatever reason, do not deserve that thing. So that's why thinking in the realm of a winner is very important with any task you want to do. Like, obviously, I mean, I say obviously, but I think it's obvious. Like, you want to do difficult things. Like, what's the point of life if you're not going to do things that are difficult? If you just do things that anybody could do and are just easy, it just doesn't really seem that fulfilling. So if you're going to take on difficult tasks, then you're going to want to complete them, right? Like, you don't want to just start things and not finish them. So if you're going to do that and you're going to want to accomplish those difficult things, you're going to have to start off with, I am a winner, I will accomplish those things. So if that's the reason why being a winner, thinking like a winner is so important, why is the opposite so bad? Why is victimizing yourself and thinking in the idea of the world's out to get me, why is that so bad, and how can it be so bad? Now, I'd say most people would know why it's bad, and that's basically just, if you don't think you can accomplish something, you will not do it. If you do not think you deserve something, you're smart enough for something, how are you going to do that thing? Now, I think everybody obviously understands that, but a lot of times, like, we understand it conceptually, but we don't actually do it. Like, when you say it, it sounds trivial, it sounds so obvious, but so many times when we're actually living life, we aren't doing the thing that seems so obvious. So I'll give like a real life example here, something that I think illustrates this point perfectly. So growing up, even now, but especially growing up, I had like a really bad stutter. Now I still have it now, but it's obviously not as bad as it was, and that's for a multitude of different reasons and different exercises and different things, but such as different exercises and just a different mental framework that I have now that I didn't have before. But that's its own separate thing. The point being, this would be the perfect opportunity to victimize myself, and I absolutely did. Like, when I was young, I would kind of have this idea like, why me? Why is this happening to me and no one else? And it's very, very difficult when there's everybody around you who can do something and it's so easy and trivial for them, but you can't. Like, when everybody around you can speak coherently and they can speak freely and whenever they want, but you feel like you can't, that wears on a child's psyche a lot. And to see something that everybody just takes for granted, something that everybody just does with such ease, and you can't even do it when you want to do it, it's very hard to not allow that to crush you and to make yourself feel like a victim. Now, I would absolutely do that. Like, when I was a kid, I would absolutely think, why me? Why is this happening to me and no one else? Like, I'm so unlucky. And I remember having thoughts like, oh, like, this life could have been so good if I didn't have this, but because I have this, I'm screwed. Like, I will never amount to the level that other people will be able to amount to because I can't do something that is so trivial that everybody else can do, and something that is so vital for success in this world. Like, one of the greatest skills you can have is to take the ideas that are in your mind and put them into someone else's. Not in like a malicious way, but just like to get people to understand you is one of, I'd say probably humans' greatest invention is language. Because you're able to understand a concept, a complex concept, and you're able to take that literally out of your mind and place it into someone else's. And that's a crazy thing. Like, that is the only reason why we have everything that we have today, because nobody could invent anything on their own, anything with any value of any substance on their own, So to be able to take your ideas and place them into someone else's mind, and they take their ideas and place them into yours, and have the ideas that were going through people's heads for the last 10,000 years, and you're able to have those ideas and get them into your mind where you can process them and you can use those ideas to do things. That is crazy. Like that is insane. Like language is, obviously everybody knows that language is amazing, but I don't think we take the time to stop and truly appreciate how amazing it is. Now, with all that being said, language, the way that you do it is speech. Moving and manipulating your mouth in a certain way, exhaling at a certain rate to produce sounds that we know what those sounds mean when they're put together to form words. All speech is just exhaling. Now, speech is so important, and probably one of the most important things if you want to be successful is to be able to effectively and efficiently communicate the ideas in your head and take those ideas and put them in someone else's head. Now, as a kid, as I was saying, I could not do that. Like I could, and I did, but it was nowhere near as effective as anybody else who I met. Now, obviously as a child, you just automatically have a weak mind, like you haven't done anything of any substance yet. So the smallest breeze is able to push you over. So to have that kind of psychological thing wearing on you, as a kid, it is so easy to victimize yourself, and you just kind of look at yourself in a loser light of, I'm going to lose because I cannot do this very basic, trivial thing. This is kind of the turning point, and this is the fork in the road. This is the decision that you make that decides your life. Something happens to you and it is not a good thing. It is a negative thing in all aspects, no matter how you look at it. It is a negative thing. And you have two choices. You let it crush you and you victimize yourself and you say, poor me, why me, all these things. Or option two, you take it on the chin and you say, I have one life. I will not bend the knee to anything, especially not this. And you figure out a way to live with it, to deal with it, to overcome it. And you think, it doesn't matter that I have this or that this has happened to me. Like it could be anything at all. You say, that doesn't matter. I can crush this. Now that obviously doesn't develop like this, and it happens over time. But I remember always, like, obviously the majority of my childhood, when I would think about my stutter, would always be in a negative light. But there would be the odd time where I was like, no, like I can get rid of this, but I didn't really believe it. I just at times would think it. But even with that going on, there was the part of me that just didn't want to look like a victim. Like the one thing that I just didn't want to do was look different than other people. Now, obviously I know now it's like everybody's different and you should be totally fine with being your own person. But at the same time, it's like if everybody can do something, you just want to be able to do that thing too. And especially as a kid, like I didn't want to be seen as differently. I just wanted to look and be like everybody else. And I think not knowing this at the time, but thinking back, that was me not wanting to victimize myself. Like that was me not wanting to look different, to be a victim. And I remember teachers would pull me into the hall after, let's say, a class presentation where it was bad. Like I would stutter on like every word and it was bad. And they would pull me into the hall and they would say, hey, like, yeah, like I see you're struggling with this. If you want, we can make an exception for you. So like you don't have to present in front of the class. You can just present to me. And there was always this like burning thing in my mind that I was like, I can't be seen as different. I can't accept it if nobody else has it. Like I don't want special treatment. I just want to be like everybody else. And honestly, kudos to that kid in grade 6, 7, who was like, no, like let me present even my next presentation in front of the class, even if the same thing happened. Like obviously I absolutely hated it in the moment, but the idea of presenting alone to the teacher and kind of accepting defeat and looking different and being like, oh, I need special treatment, that to me was worse, even at the age of grade 6, grade 7. That to me was worse than stepping in that arena again and having the shit kicked out of me by a speech impediment. Now, why am I sharing this very personal detail with you? I think in life a lot of times people give advice about things, but they may not have any credibility. They could just be saying things to say things. And especially with YouTube, you will see it a lot of times. People look at it from a business point of view and they're like, I have to churn out content and videos to make money. And they will just pick topics and just start talking about them. And what you get is people talking about things that they don't have any experience in and giving comments and suggestions about fields they have not immersed themselves in. And someone might make the same video and be like, oh, don't victimize yourself because it's bad to be a victim. It's like, no, like, don't victimize yourself because it'll fucking destroy you. Now, I say this very personal detail to give an extreme example of what I'm talking to and to give a little bit of credibility that I know intimately and deeply that it is absolutely crucial that you do not victimize yourself and you do not allow external events to come into your mind and to crush it. Now, with all that being said as well, I don't want anyone thinking like, oh, like that's so bad, that's so terrible, and feel bad about that. Because that again goes against the whole thing where it's like, I am not a victim. And any person that any bad thing happens to, the word we use is victim, but it's like, you can't think, if you want to overcome that thing, you cannot think of yourself as a victim. You have to think of yourself as just someone who something happened to, and you are not going to allow that thing to control you and to change you and to shape you into the way it wants to shape you. Like, things will happen to you and that thing will try and put you in a box, and you cannot let it put you in that box. If I had allowed that thing to victimize me, and if I had given in to that temptation and been like, yeah, like, poor me, like, life would have been so good if this hadn't have happened, but now it did, and now I'm screwed. Like, I would be absolutely destroyed. And like, how would I ever be successful at anything with that mentality? Because the only way that you have the confidence to take on a new difficult task and to believe in your head that you can accomplish it is because of the history and the track record of successful, difficult experiences that you have accomplished. If you want to go climb Mount Everest and you have never climbed a mountain, obviously you're not going to think you can do it. But if you climbed Mount Logan and then you climbed Kilimanjaro and you've climbed a bunch of others and you've done a bunch of training and you've successfully done all those, once you get to Everest Base Camp, you shouldn't just be like, I can't do this, because you look back at all the other things that you thought that you wouldn't be able to do as well, and yet you did them. So it's like, this is just another thing that's difficult. I've been here before, let me do it. And then in a weird way, the things that were so difficult and the things that were your biggest enemy and your biggest burden, those end up being your biggest wells of confidence to extract from, because the bigger demon you have slayed, the more confidence it'll give you. Like, if you overcome something that was super easy and trivial, like, let's say, as you know, it's 25-year-old guy, let's say I do one push-up. Oh, I successfully accomplished one push-up. That is not going to give me any amount of confidence at all, because it's such a trivial task. It's like, it wasn't a big enough demon that you slayed that you can look at and be like, oh wow, like, I'm super good. I can accomplish very difficult things. But if you take something that is so difficult, like 500 push-ups in a row, and if you are able to finally accomplish that, that is such a big demon you slayed that you will look back at that and be like, wow, like, I did that, and that will give you so much confidence. So the biggest adversaries you have, once you finally beat them, they will be your biggest foundation of confidence. And it's that kind of mantra of like, iron sharpens iron. Like, difficult things happen to you. When you finally beat them, it will just grow you into a greater person. And it's like a weird thing where it's like, I'm not going to say I'm happy that that happened to me, but in some ways I am grateful that it did, because I learned a ton of things that I likely would not have otherwise learned, or maybe I would have learned them in different ways down the road. But it was just like a lot of character development and thinking about things that most kids don't even have to think of because they don't have that problem. Now, other people who are going through other things, once they finally accomplish those things, they'll have an advantage that I don't have because I didn't go through that difficult experience. So with all that being said, that's why it is very important to never victimize yourself and to never just give in. And if you want to be great, or you want to be good or competent to any degree, you have to have the mentality of, I deserve to win. And I don't deserve negative things happening to me. Life does not happen at me. Life happens from me. Like, I do things to the world and I enact my efforts on the world, and not the world just pushes me into a box and that's where I am because the world pushed me there. I decide where I go.